What's up, everybody? It's Jonathan, and today we're going to be talking about earnings because we're about to enter another earnings season, and I have a program. It's called Elite Earnings, and in this program, before every earnings season, we hold a live class where I share my favorite earnings trades. I want to walk you through my favorite earnings trade right now, but what's more important is I want you to understand why I like this trade so much. So in front of you, PCMI. Not really too familiar with PCMI. What I like, though, it's an off the beaten path company. It's not like Microsoft. It's not like Apple. Apple's got 100 analysts that follow it. It's got 100 plus market makers. It's the most perfectly valued stock in the world. I want to look off the beaten path because that's where I have edge. So PCMI is an earnings trade that I really like. Here's why. I ran a back test on PCMI because I wanted the data on the past earnings releases. That's what's in front of you. April 25th, when PCMI released earnings, I'm not sure if it was before the open or after the close, but the first trading day, if it was after the close, the next trading day, the max move up or down was up 16%. The time before, the max move on the first available trading day was 37%. I want this data because options, stock options, allow us to speculate on the amount of movement, allows us to value the amount of movement planned in the market before an option expires. So of course, I'm going to do an earnings play. I need to know, how does the stock move post earnings, or how has it moved post earnings? PCMI, you can see, is an extremely volatile stock. Every time it's released earnings, the first day it's trading after that, it's moved over 15%, mostly over 20 or 25%, with the exception of February 8th, 2017. So I think it's fair to say that when PCMI releases earnings in August, is it going to move 20%? I don't think that's far off. If I said 20%, that'd probably be a coin flip where I bet higher or I bet lower. That would be like my line in the middle. If the options were pricing in 15% movement, I would think that's inexpensive. If the options market was pricing in 35% movement, I would think that's expensive. So right now, if the options market is pricing in anything less than 20%, this is probably a darn good trade. Now let's go look at the options and let's see how they're priced. Let's see what the market's expecting. Now for PCMI, we want to be in August because that's when the earnings are going to be released. What you can do in Thinkorswim, that's what I'm using right now, is just look over here. The August they're trading, they're 73% volatility, plus 320. So now just take $17 or $16.90. Let's use 17. 10% of 17 is $1.70. 20% is going to be $3.40. So right now the market's pricing in about 19%. We said a fair amount of movement would be about 20%. But there's one thing that we left out. And this is where you can find really good opportunity. Because we were valuing the earnings release. That's just one day. There's 36 other days that we can hope or plan for movement. So right now, I personally think one day should be valued at about 20%, and the other 36 days may be valued at 5%. That would place the expected move at 25%, but right now, the market's only pricing in 19% of movement. So that to me says, PCMI, I'm a buyer of options. I certainly don't want to sell options because, in my opinion, based on this analysis, the options are inexpensive going into earnings. I don't want to buy the stock. Again, I want to buy the options because the options are cheap. How do we buy the options? Well, 17.5, $1.40 bid, $1.35 bid. Buy the 15s, 80-cent bid. Leave it in there. If you get filled, awesome trade. That's a trade that we want. And if you don't get filled, hey, no harm, no foul. In doing these trades, You want to find the option strikes that have intrinsic value, the most amount of intrinsic value. So if PCMI was trading at 15, we would buy the calls and buy the puts on the 15 strike. Because PCMI is trading in the middle of these two strikes, we want to do out of the money. So you would buy the 17 halves and buy the 15s. We'd put on a strangle. This is the exact analysis I do for every single trade that I do during earnings season. Elite Earnings is opened up to the next, we started with 20 people. I think there's 12 spots left. It's open for the next 48 hours. If you want to learn more about the Elite Earnings program, email support@Active Day Trader. Happy to share more information. Thanks, guys. Jonathan, Active Day Trader.